Hello and welcome to our 17th session, and in this session we are going to add some more features to our deer game, making it more challenging and also more attractive. So here we are going to work on 4 challenges, and I have attached all the documents about how to do it, a PDF file. If you go into the Patreon page, you can download this PDF file and use it as a reference. You can switch off this video, use the reference PDF and try to finish off this project on your own. If you are not able to do it, then start following the video. I am going to show you how all these 4 challenges can be met. The very first challenge that I want you to do is you have to add a vertical movement to our player. The player is right now moving only left and right, and he should be able to move some, say, around 4 or 5 units up or down also. This is the first challenge given to you. Let us start by launching Unity Hub. We have the previously completed deer game here. However, if you doesn't have this file, don't worry. You can come into your YouTube video description, and if you click on more here, you have one Patreon page link here. Click on this link, come into the Patreon page, and here if you scroll down, you have a link here, 17 deer game challenges start.zip. This is a 1 GB file. Click on this to download the file, and once the file is downloaded, right click on this downloaded file, choose extract and extract all the files. Come to Unity Hub, come to add here, add project from disk. Browse to the folder where you had extracted all the files and click open. Right now I will cancel and click on this deer_game project to open it. Once the project is over, we have this deer_game1 project open. As of now, I will go to file, save as, and in Unity project deer game assets, I will come into the scene, give this the name as deer game challenge 1, and I am going to save it so that my original file is left as it is. If you come into Unity, if I select the player, up or down from the top view, that is I have to move him either forward or backward. This movement is controlled by the Z axis. I want him in the Z. Minimum value I will keep it around -1, and maximum he can go is around 10 units. So I have to make him move forward and backward in Z axis between -1 and 10. So I will set it back to 0. I will come into this player control script and double click to open this. I will come at the start. After this public game object projectile, I will press enter, add to /, and I will declare variable to hold the minimum Z position of the player, and I will press enter, declare public, and the number is float, and I am going to set this variable name as minZ, and I will initially set its value to something like -1.0f. Then I will press enter, and I am going to declare a variable to hold the maximum Z position of the player. Press enter. I will now declare public float, and this is maxZ capital, and I will set its value to something like 10.0f and end it with semicolon. Here I forgot to add the semicolon. Previously we were using only horizontal input, that is we were moving it only horizontally left to right. Now I want to move this vertically. I will press enter and add to /, and I am going to declare a variable for vertical input, public, and again it's a float number. I will call this as vertical input and end it with semicolon. I will now come here into the update, and here we had horizontal input. This code, copy this, and I will press 2 space enter, and I will add a comment saying that get vertical input from player. Press enter and paste this code, and in this code I will replace this horizontal input variable with vertical input variable, and here in the axis instead of horizontal I will click vertical. So it is now going to get the axis vertical, and for this the key allotted is WS or up and down arrows. Coming into the translate, I am now going to call vector3 and I will call forward, and I am going to multiply this not from horizontal input, but I will multiply it by vertical input into time.delta time into speed. Now next I have to set the bounding range. See, we had put here keep player within bounds, the comment. The first if statement. I will just copy this first if statement, copy it, and after the second if statement, press enter twice and paste it. And here now the transform position will be along the Z axis and it should be less than this minimum Z. Minimum Z. If you come here into the code, leave transform X and transform Y as it is, and instead of Z, I am going to replace it with minimum Z. See, automatically it is showing me the tip here. If I press tab, this code will be entered. If transform.positionZ is greater than maxZ, that is, if it is greater than 10, then the position should be equal to new vector 3, transform position X, transform position Y same, and it will be set to maxZ. So if it is greater than 10, it will lock to 10. If it is less than -1, it will lock to -1. If I now save this file, if I come back to Unity, allow the script to compile. Now here, if I select the player and now if I play the game and check it, the player is at the center, X value is 0. When I move him down with the down arrow, he moves till -1 and then he is not going to move further. But if I press the up arrow, he moves till 10 and beyond the 10 he is not going to move. And left -20 to +20 along the X axis. I will stop the playback, come to file and save this. So with this, we have successfully completed our first challenge of making this player move vertical. After adding vertical movement, to make the game more difficult, we want the animal to span not only from the top but also from left and right. And when it is spamming from left and right, if the player fails to feed it with food and if it crosses the screen, we have to see the message game over. To span our animals from top to bottom, we had created a SpawnManager game object and we had attached this SpawnManager script. And to span this from the left, we are using the same SpawnManager. I will come to project panel script, SpawnManager script, double click to open this. First, I am going to declare a few variables. The first variable that I need is what should be the range between which I want the span of animals should happen. This is now going to happen vertically, that is along the Z axis. I will come to this line 16. This comment is no more needed. I will delete it, add two forward slashes, and I am going to create a variable for span range along Z axis. Public float span range Z, and I am going to set its value to 15.0f. I will end it with semicolon. Apart from the span range Z, I want my span to start from the left hand end. I have to declare another variable. So I will press enter, add two forward slashes, create a variable for span position, and the position will be along the X axis. Public float span position X, and I am going to set it to 20.0f. To span the random animal, if you scroll down in our previous session, we had created a new method called as SpawnRandomAnimal. I am going to create one more new method to span the animal from the left. So after this code block of the SpawnRandomAnimal, after this close flower bracket, before the close flower bracket of the class, if I press enter, I am going to create a new method. It is void because it is not going to return anything, and I am going to call this as SpawnLeftAnimal. And with open close parenthesis, I will press enter, then I will add open and close flower brackets. And now if I open this bracket, I am going to initialize this animal index. I am going to make my vector position span position to be equal to a new value here. So I will copy this and I declare this new vector 3, that is span position variable. Here one difference is along the X axis we are going to use the span position Z. So I will copy this and put it at the beginning, comma, then along the Y axis it will be 0. Instead of span position Z, I am going to call this as span position X, and In the range, I am going to use this minus spawnRangeZ. I am going to replace this X here by Z, and here also I will replace it by Z. I will remove this part here. This is not required. I will add the bracket here. So to span from the side, we have set the X value to the declared span position X, and Y we have kept it 0, and for Z we have used the range minus spawnRangeZ to plus spawnRangeZ, and the other two lines we will leave it as it is. So I will take these two lines, copy it, and then I will come here after the second line, press enter and paste it. Press del to move it back so that it is correctly aligned. After declaring this method SpawnLeft animal, we have to call this now. And where are we going to call it? If you come to the top, when the game starts, we had used this invoke repeating method. So I am going to just copy this invoke repeating method in the start code block, copy it, come to next line and paste it. And only difference here, instead of spawn random animal, I will now choose SpawnLeft animal. Go to file, save it, and now if I come back here to Unity, and once the script is compiled, now if I come into the script and play the game, now after 1.5 seconds it starts spanning, but still we are seeing the animals coming only from top to bottom and from not left to right. So to debug it, I will stop the playback, come back to the code, and temporarily in this line number 24, I will select this span random animal, and before this line I will add 2 forward slashes to comment list line, so that I am only going to concentrate on the SpawnLeft animal. I will save it, and now if I come back to Unity and if I play it and check it, see now what is happening is, now when it is playing after 1.5 seconds, the animal is spanning, but the only problem is it is spanning on the right hand side. It has to span to the left hand. Why it is spanning to right hand side is because we have set the spawnPositionX value to 20. It should be set to minus 20, and also the direction of spanning here from top to bottom, it should move from left to right, means I have to rotate this by 90 degrees. So I will stop the playback. I will now come back to Visual Studio Code, and first thing is for spawnPositionX, I will set the value to minus 20. I will come into SpawnLeft animal method. We had set the animal position and rotation here in instantiate, and this rotation I have to set this second transform rotation. I have to rotate it by 90 degrees. So to do this, after the second line, I will press enter, and I am going to declare a new variable. The type of variable is vector3 variable, and I am going to call this as my rotation value equal to new vector3, and in open close bracket end it with semicolon, and inside the bracket along the x 0 rotation, and along y I am going to rotate it by 90 degree, and along z I will set its rotation to 0. I have to change this animal prefab transform rotation. This part I have to replace it with my rotation variable, but I cannot add this my rotation variable directly because this 90 is in degree. I am going to call quaternion. You can see here, I will call this quaternion. Period, I have to call this Euler function, and in open close bracket, I have to now call my rotation, and then I will end it with semicolon. I will now come into file, save, and if I now come back and allow the script to compile, now if I play the game and check it, 2 seconds it is moving, but it is again moving from right. This is because I will stop the playback. In SpawnManager, in inspector, in spawnPositionX till it is 20. Here I have to change it to minus 20. Now I will go to file, save this, and now if I execute and check this, after 1.5 seconds you can see it has started to span from left. So now sometimes it is moving below the player. So to avoid it, I will stop the playback. Coming back to Visual Studio Code, in the range, instead of minus spawnRangeZ, I doesn't want it to go below 0. So in this range, I will set it with a positive value of around 2 as the starting range, going to move it between 2 and spawnRangeZ. Now I will go to file and save it, Now if I come back to Unity, allow the script to compile, and now if I play and check it, you can now see all the spanning is happening above my player. So I will stop the playback. Now coming back to Visual Studio Code, I am now going to enter after my SpawnLeft animal code block. I will press enter twice, and I am going to declare another method now, void span right animal, open close parenthesis, then press enter, and in open close flower bracket, inside the flower bracket I am going to place the code. This code will be similar to this left animal code. I am just going to copy it and paste it here. Everything will be the same. Instead of rotating it by 90 degree here, I am going to rotate it by minus 90 degree. And I will also come to the top, and in start method, I will remove the commenting of first line and I will add a third line. So I will copy this second line, copy it, press enter, paste it, and instead of span left animal here, I am going to replace it with the span right animal. Using 3 invoke repeating methods here, I will go to file, save this, and now if I come back into Unity, allow the script to compile, and then if I start the playback, now if you check, but I am not seeing from the right hand side, stop the playback. In spawnPositionX, I had set it to value to minus 20f. SpawnPositionX value I will set it to 20. In SpawnLeft I am going to set it to minus SpawnPositionX, and in SpawnRight animal I will leave it at positive. Go to file and save this. Come back to Unity, allow the script to compile, then open SpawnManager, and even here set the span position to 20, because I have made in left animal negative and right animal I have made it positive. So I will go to file, save it, and now if I play the game and check it, now the animals are coming in all the direction. I can move the player, fire the foot, and I can feed them and make them happy like this. So our second challenge is complete, but only issue we now have is, see, whatever animals are getting spanned in left and right are not getting destroyed. See, you can see here. I will stop the playback, and this destruction of these animals happens in this MoveForward script. If I double click this MoveForward script and open it, we had added the bound value and it was set only to Z. I will select this entire if block. I am now going to copy it, and then below this if block press enter twice and I will paste it. And this time the axis, instead of Z, I will change it to X. I will change both the axis from Z to X. I am going to delete the inside if block here, and I am going to directly add here this debug log game over. Here I will paste it. Now if I save it and come back to Unity, allow the script to compile. I will play the game. The spanning has started, but you can see here as it is produced, it is getting destroyed. See, it is getting destroyed. Now I will stop the playback. So with this, we have successfully completed our second challenge of spanning the animals from all the 3 directions. So with these 2 challenges, I am going to conclude this session, and there are 2 other difficult challenges which we are going to discuss it in our next session.